Alright, back again guys. This video is going to be about don't starve and my tips on how to survive or thrive and live for a very long time. Alright, my first tip will be to explore the world. You don't want to just set up camp wherever you start. You want to explore the entire world, find resources, possibly find a pig village. A pig village is definitely the best place you can set up your camp because it offers protection from hounds. It offers a workforce to get trees, to kill beefalo, or to pretty much do whatever you need done. You definitely want to explore the world. Find out where everything is before you set up, and on your way, gather resources. You want to gather resources for a torch and just keep moving. That's it. Just gather resources for a torch and use that. Don't set up fires. You just want to get enough wood, enough logs, enough stones to set up a permanent fire in your permanent location, which would be a pig village. Hopefully, if you can't find a pig village, you want to set up in within walking distance of a beefalo herd, because if you get attacked by hounds and later on after you've survived a while, the numbers start to build up, so it gets more and more difficult to defend against them. You can just run over to the herd of beefalo and get the hounds killed. It's much easier that way. Eventually though, you're going to want to build a death pit, which is going to be another one of my tips later on. Okay, on to the second tip. This will be to gather resources. This is something you will never stop doing. You want to dedicate days specifically to gathering resources. You don't want to multitask, because in this game, multitasking means wasted time because the world is so big and you're so slow. So you want to dedicate time to picking one specific type of resource at a time. So that would be like saplings and grass and berry bushes for a day or two, since that's just walking around picking stuff, and on your way you can pick up flint, stuff like that. And then on another day you want to dedicate the entire day or two to cutting down trees. And this is where pigs come in handy again. You can give them monster meat, the meat you get from killing spiders or hounds or whatever else, and they'll become a workforce. They'll pretty much just follow you around. They'll attack things for you, or they'll cut down trees for you, and it makes clearing a forest very easy. And then you can just go back the next day with a shovel and pick everything up and dig up the stumps, and you have easily 80 to 100 logs in 2 days. Very easy. And this is something you're never going to stop doing, so you want to do it right. Okay, on to tip number 3. These are going to be the things that I believe you should build first for basic early survival. That's traps to catch rabbits and frogs. That's easy meat. Then you need drying racks. You definitely need drying racks. It comes down to drying racks and crock pots, and I believe drying racks are a better use of resources because it uses less renewable resources and it prolongs the life of your food. And you can leave meat on there and it will never begin to spoil. So I think they're much better. You're going to want the fire pit, obviously. That's going to be there regardless. You need that. Boxes. You want to hold your resources that you've picked, that you've gathered. You want something to hold them. And you want to build a science and an alchemy machine. You definitely want them because you need them to pretty much unlock everything. And that is basically what I feel you need for early survival. Then we'll go into a more advanced setup later, but for now that's what you need. That's what you definitely direly need. I believe that stuff alone will get you through the first winter, but by then you could probably have more than that. Okay, on to tip number 4. This is going to concern resources again. These are resources that you're going to dig up and move to your camp. Now that you have your basic setup done and you're able to survive more easily, you want to go out and dig up resources like saplings and grass and berry bushes, and you want to plant them near your camp. You don't want to do it too close though, because fire hounds will end up burning your entire crop. And also when you do it, you want to plant in straight, long rows. So you can just hold spacebar and go up and collect the entire row quickly and easily. And you also want to place those rows a good distance apart, so if one row catches fire, they don't all burn and screw you completely. And that's pretty much it. Alright, on to tip number 5. This is going to concern your more advanced camp and what you should need. You're going to need to gather resources. Again, that goes back to the other tip. You're always going to need to do that tip over and over and over. That's basically what this game relies on, you gathering crap. So after you've gathered those resources, you want to start building. You want fridges or ice boxes. And you're going to get gears from Clockwork Knights or Clockwork Bishops. It's 1 gear per ice box, and each one of them should drop 2. So you can make plenty of them, and you're going to want to start building things in excess, because the more you have, the easier it is to survive. Especially during winter, you could just sit by your fire the entire time. So you're also going to want gardens in excess. You want to build more drying racks. And of course, you're going to want to build crock pots. With these things, you can cycle food around. You can leave stuff on your crock pots, in your garden, and on your drying racks indefinitely, and it will never begin to spoil. But if you've picked it already and you've stuck it in your icebox, you can, as it begins to spoil, you can cook it, and then as it begins to spoil again, well, you don't want to stick spoiled food in your crock pot, but as it begins to go bad, you want to stick it in your crock pot, and it will again make it better. So you can prolong the life of your food that way. Or with meat, as it begins to spoil, you could stick it on your drying rack, and it'll pretty much fill the bar completely, and you'll have fully freshened food. And then as that begins to spoil, that food lasts very long in the icebox, because the icebox doubles the length of its life. You could stick that again in the crock pot, and it will lengthen the life even more. So you can pretty much get as much value out of everything as you possibly can doing that, and that will help you survive. Okay, on to tip number 6. I don't know if I'm leaving anything out here, but this is going to be my last tip. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff to cover in this game, and most of it just relies on common sense. I mean, you could pretty much figure out what to do, so I'm just going to give the basics. So for you people who've survived for a very long time, you know that hound groups grow in number, and they get continuously more difficult to deal with. So you're going to want to build a death trap. That's basically just an enclosed structure with stone walls with a long, narrow pathway that you fill with traps. With tooth traps, I think they're called. It's fairly simple. I'll just show you it, and you can mimic my structure if you want. You know what? There is one more tip I could give. This isn't a necessity, but it does make things a lot easier. You could make bird cages, and once you've grown a dragon fruit in your garden, you can feed the dragon fruit to your birds, and they will crap out seeds in return. And they will 100% of the time give you dragon fruit seeds. Sometimes they'll give you 2 dragon fruit seeds. Sometimes they'll even give you 3. And then you could plant them and just keep feeding the dragon fruit to them and get more and more seeds. And then you can do 1 dragon fruit on the crock pot with 3 sticks, and it'll give you a dragon pie, and that's pretty much the best thing you can have in the game. That will definitely help you survive. No, that'll help you thrive in this game. It'll pretty much enable you to do anything you want without the worry of starving, getting hurt. It'll heal you. It will feed your hunger immensely, and I think it helps your sanity. And the next best thing to that, I suppose, would be honey ham, or whatever the hell that's called, or dried meat. Not morsels, meat. You want a lot of dried meat. Those things are the best things you can have. Alright, well that concludes my Don't Starve tip video. Thanks for watching. I know it was a long one. I didn't intend to make it so long, but that's what happens. So, thanks for watching, and leave a comment.